Hi, I'm Sandy Petersen, and this is my father, Robert Petersen, who introduces himself over the phone as the Interstellar Bombardment Group, which is what the t-shirt he's wearing now is, with a picture of him as the master of that group. Not many people have a t-shirt with a picture of themselves. Even I don't. Now, when I was growing up, there were so many fun books, science fiction and other, in the house, and he got me into science fiction, fantasy, and horror and all those things. Now, back then, he was not a gamer. He is more of a gamer now. In fact, he is in the top 1% of StarCraft players in his age category. You can see he's still in great shape. Show your muscles, Dad. And he goes walking a mile or more every day. He eats far more healthy than I do. And I got some questions so you can see where Sandy came from. I got it from him. And so first, Dad, when I was growing up, I would go into Grandpa Arthur's house, and he did not have a lot of science fiction books. So where did you get your interest in those from?
That's very interesting. I'm not sure about that, but I have to make a couple comments first. I just got off my shuttle from my ship, which came from Sigma Draconis 4, and here I got to go and do this kind of stuff. An A-list actor like me. And then you try to tell me I'm an old man. I'm only 60. Now, I was just reading about Benjamin Franklin in the Revolutionary Times, and he said when he reached 70, he thought he had the ability to, from then on, he would go down, so that by the time he got to Paris as the ambassador, he was 67.
There you go.
I don't see why I can't do that.
It makes perfect sense.
I am only 60. However, I do have 32 years of experience.
In being 60.
At
yes.
that age.
I am perfectly happy to be 64, his son.
Oh, you're younger than me? Only
that's
three.
Right. So,
well, I was, I don't know how I got interested. I was interested in the Civil War books. And I was interested in Tarzan and John Carter. I was interested in things like that sort of stuff. And I got, foolishly, I bought a book of H.P. Lovecraft. And even worse, I left it laying around.
He only had that one book, but I found it when I was 8 years old. So I notice you do the same thing that I do, which you will buy a book, and then later on you'll forget you bought it, and you'll buy it again. So you have duplicates. So I do that, and my son Arthur comes and steals my duplicates. So my question for you is, how does Mom deal with you doing this?
Do we have to get into personal affairs here?
Okay, well, here's something personal. You've been married for going on 70 years despite your young age.
We're newlyweds. That should be made clear.
How on earth did you get Grandma to take you on?
Well, as you probably know, I'm a fast talker at times.
That makes sense. Okay, and you've got to keep it up for almost 70 years. Now, I know that I was a really weird kid. I mean, I was reading H.P. Lovecraft when I was 8. When I was 9, I played hooky from school so I could read Tarzan of the Apes. Do you have any stories about how odd I was growing up in your house?
Well, yeah, I remember you were lecturing to your grandpa when you were 5 about dinosaurs and squirrels and stuff.
Squirrels?
Heck, I just learned to read when I was in the 1st grade.
Was that the squirrel that I named Perry that came in our house?
Oh, I can't remember him.
I do remember my mom telling me that once I said, "Squirrel, squirrel," there was a squirrel in the house, and she came in and it was a rat, a big old North. So that was not the best kind of squirrel, but I didn't know any different. Okay, so tell me something exciting you've done lately.
What have I done lately that's exciting?
Yes.
Well, I haven't gotten the virus.
That's exciting to not have the virus.
The reason I haven't got it, I think, is because you got to take your vitamin D.
Vitamin D, you got that, folks? That's the secret.
2,000 units for teens and adults.
Now,
every day.
Now, when you think about different choices you could have made over the last 92 or 93 years, can you think of any choice that you made that, how it made a difference and why you chose it?
Well, I decided when I was in high school I'd be a doctor, so I went to college on that plan, and I did. Finally got to it. I missed World War II because I was too young. I was in high school. The Korean War was in graduate school. But then I was in the Air Force during the Cuban crisis.
He was not flying a plane, he was a doctor. Actually, in fact, you were a captain because they gave doctors high ranks so they could boss around with the patients, right?
Doctors, even if they were just out of their internship, was a captain. I was in charge of the flight surgeons, as well as the regular ear, nose, and throat work.
What was the first science fiction story or book you can remember that you really loved?
Oh, boy.
One of the first.
That I can't remember. It might have been that Lovecraft book.
You loved the Lovecraft book?
I enjoyed it. I just had the one. I never got any more for some reason.
I know, and I found that in a box of books. That was something. So,
of course, since then I've enjoyed, A.E. Van Vogt and Jack Vance.
I know you like Asimov and Clarke.
Asimov,
and David
Foundation
Weber.
series was tremendous. David Weber is probably my favorite now, his Harrington series. But I think he's coming to an end of that stuff.
Yeah, I read the book 19 and it looks like it's over now. So I know that you are one of the top people in doing family names for genealogy. You have 300,000 names you've researched.
Well, your audience might not even know what that is.
They might not, but you can tell us something about your family.
Well, on my father's side, they came over like in the 1880s. My grandmother came over with her sister and her sister's husband, and they arrived in Racine, Wisconsin. She was just going to come for 6 months and then go back to Denmark, but she met Peter Petersen, and he married her. Now in Utah here, we have a south of Provo where I live, we have an area called San Pete County. And we're Latter-day Saints, and they have a bishop in each ward of about several hundred people. And I was told that when the bishop got up and said, "Would Brother Petersen please give the closing prayer," 40 guys stood up. So there must have been a few Petersens there.
None of them are relatives.
And then he said, "I'm sorry, I meant Brother Peter Petersen." 4 guys sat down. Well, one patient told me they had East Pete, West Pete, Rich Pete, and Poor Pete.
Thanks for that Lovecraft book. It was published in 1942 when he would have been maybe 14 years old.
Yeah.
And it was actually a military version for soldiers abroad. I'm not sure how American soldiers fought harder reading a Lovecraft book, but I guess it helped.
I never thought of that.
Yeah. And I really liked that book, and it's warped my career. So thank you so much, Dad.
Okay, my darling. But I am sorry in some ways I have to have condemned hundreds of thousands, if not a million, of people to all those Cthulhu games and stuff.
That's right.
Starting with Call of Cthulhu.